Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays but Botany Does, and I'm here in beautiful Joplin, Missouri. And some people would say that the word Missouri translated actually means land of mean honkies, but I found that not to be true. People have been very, very kind here. Okay, and I got a wonderful visitor center with a real nice bathroom that I just destroyed back there at the Shoal Canyon Creek, whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, we're here to look at an ecological phenomenon known as the Glade. This is a Chert glade. Chert, of course, is a type of rock. It's a silica dioxide, basically. Or you can have biogenic silica. You can have silica that washes out of, volcanic ash and stuff like that, because volcanic rocks are high silica. But either way, this is a Chert glade that co-occurs with limestone. Much of Missouri is limestone. So these are marine sedimentary rocks, okay? You get, coccolithophores and Phemeranthus, which are, single-cell plankton that build their shells out of calcium carbonate. Then you get radiolarians and diatoms, which are single-celled plankton that build their shells out of silica. That's where you get the biogenic silica. So beyond a certain depth in the ocean, calcium carbonate dissolves due to the intense pressure at depth. So beyond that depth, you get silica. This chert, as you can see here, composes the bedrock here. This chert composes the bedrock here. You can see that conchoidal fracture. It's kind of smooth. It's not porous like limestone. Limestone can be very porous, so much so that it acts like a paper towel sometimes. Capillary action, soaking up water from beneath. But either way, this is Chert. So this is a silica-based rock. You got that conchoidal fracture and the smooth texture. That's a big giveaway. But again, the key takeaway here is that this glade, as you can see, doesn't have much soil to it. The bedrock is pretty close to the surface, and as a result, you get many plants growing on this thin-soiled, rocky, much drier site than you would, say, in a forest over there. And the reason those trees are there, the whole reason they're there is because you actually have a soil. All right, you've got a deeper topsoil, and the bedrock is not as close to the surface for whatever reason. Hey, where the hell you going? Come over here. There's silver alert! Silver alert! He's taking off. Hey, you're picking up chiggers. Get over here, man. So, I've done most of my botany in arid places, in places that, we're kind of highlighting xerophytic plants that are adapted to drier sites. And that's certainly what we have here. So because this soil is basically, non-existent to very thin, plants that can tolerate the aridity and the lack of soil are going to thrive here, like this Opuntia species, like this prickly pear. It could be Opuntia humifusa or Opuntia sespitosa. You can also see another plant that can obviously tolerate drying out is this spike moss, Selaginella, all right, which is actually a lycophyte. Actually, that might be an actual moss. This is a spike moss right here, Selaginella. So they're poikilohydric plants that can completely dry out. They're desiccation tolerant. It's crispy. It's kind of brown, but upon a little bit of rain, actually, this is still active, actively metabolizing and photosynthesizing right here. But Selaginella can almost completely dry out. It just feels like a dry shag carpeting, and then you get a little bit of moisture, it comes back to life, springs back to life, starts photosynthesizing, doing its thing. Tons of little blue stem everywhere too. Tons of lichens. Lichens can completely dry out. Right here is a species that's related to cactus. It's in the same order, but in a different family. It's in the Bitterroot family. This is Phemeranthus. And you can see, like so many members of order Caryophyllales, like family Cactaceae, Anacampsaraceae, Isoaceae, and Montiaceae, which this is in, it's got the stem succulents. It's evolved succulents. So it's got water storage. It can tolerate those dry sites a little bit better than the rest. Let's check out the flower of this species. This is Phemeranthus calycinus. There you go. See that? Look at that. It sends up a little pink flag. Phemeranthus, see that? I forget the common name, I don't pay attention to them. But like cactus flowers, many stamens. Many stamens, you get that central ovary, and then there's that style and stigma in the center, receptive to pollen. Beautiful green ovary in there. And many perianth parts. You get like 7. And they appear to be, let's see. Are there 2 distinct series, or nah, they kind of just look like tepals. I don't know, maybe it's calyx and corolla, maybe it's sepals and petals, but to me right now it just looks like tepals. But I've just, I'm sitting here sweating in the 95-degree heat looking at this. So beautiful flower though. And then of course down there, just blending in with the grass, are those little finger-like succulent leaves. Always one to tolerate heat, little blue stem. You can just tell by the color. Got the Cam4 photosynthesis. Little blue stem's very good at tolerating open exposed sites and thin soils. Oh, I love a good rock outcropping. See, look at all those lichens. God damn. Always like lichens and mosses. Lichens and mosses. They can tolerate drying out. They're really, really tough-ass little plants. Well, lichens a fungus and an algae, but the mosses at least. Anyway, this black material is all alive. That itself is a lichen. Look up close at it. So it's concealing the true nature of this rock, which you can see right there is that's kind of smooth texture. Again, not limestone, it's a smooth silica, and you can find conchoidal fractures where you can find areas where it's been recently chipped away and damaged. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. See that? You could see the smooth texture, the conchoidal fracture. God, it's cool. So that's how you can kind of learn to identify chert or any other silica-based rock, like, say, obsidian, by that, oh yeah, see, look at that texture. There you go. See, I don't really do mosses, otherwise I could tell you what genus this is, but it's just important to know that it doesn't have internal plumbing. It doesn't have a vascular system, whereas spike moss, which isn't really a moss, it's a lycophyte, that's Legionella shit, which is up there, actually has internal plumbing. It actually has a vascular system. But both can completely dry out, and they're both desiccation tolerant. You can see this guy, they must have gotten rain recently. He's alive and doing well. But they got an edge in environments like this. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, one normally thinks mosses grow in shady environments, you know, like in forests and whatever the shit, but that's not the case. In Selaginella, it's certainly not the case. There are some tropical Selaginella that prefer the shady forest floor of tropical jungles, but they're also Selaginella that can tolerate open exposures of rock, and they're quite abundant in arid places in North America, primarily in Western North America, but also in these little dry microsites in the more humid east. It's nice, you know, I really appreciate that. That's a form of art unto itself, you know. It's like drawing a mustache on a subway ad or something. If only there was a better way to vandalize billboards. If anyone thinks of a way to vandalize those LED billboards, let me know, you know. I've sat out there with a pellet gun, tried to take them out, but you know, I don't think it's not a thing where like you shoot it once, you take out the whole thing. You actually have to sit there and go. It takes a lot of pellets, you know, and they end up costing a lot of money. Take out a whole billboard, it's going to cost you like 500 bucks. Yeah, look at that. That's great. Look at that. All that little blue stem. You got little openings where the rock is a little more rock than soil, even though the soil is here, it's still thin. And that's where you get the prickly pears popping out. That's nice. And that's, you know, these end up being only spots where those prickly pears can grow is on these glade habitats, because anywhere else they get outcompeted, they get shaded out. Oh, this is cool. Some like it hot, including the genus Liatris, all right, which loves growing in bright sun in prairies, open and exposed, often on thin soils. And this is a local specialty, all right, only growing in Arkansas, northern Louisiana, a little bit in Kansas, eastern Kansas, and here in Missouri. You get a little bit of Oklahoma too. This is Liatris hirsuta. Now the genus Liatris has quite a few species in it, all right, and it's had a diverse speciation throughout central North America, especially at the higher latitudes. You don't get them out west too much. So this one, for whatever reason, it's got those thistle-like phyllaries. They're recurved, right? Those phyllaries are those bracts, right? Those little spiky bracts that compose the sides of this flower. Well, what looks like a flower, it's actually a compound flower. It's a capitulum. So it's Pseudanthium is the technical name for that. For many flowers coming together to look like one flower, but in the case of Asteraceae, the sunflower family, which this is, it's called a capitulum, a flower head. So a head of tiny flowers, and each one of those pink tubes with the long, looking like pink hairs coming out, those are the styles. Each one of those things is a individual flower. So this is related to stevia. It's in the stevia tribe Eupatoriae, and one of the defining characteristics of the stevia tribe Eupatoriae, the Joplin tribe, is those long styles. This one I haven't seen before. This is a great species. Look at that. Liatris hirsuta. You can see all the hairs on it. Doesn't get too tall, but takes fine to this chert glade. Again, that conchoidal fractured silica rock, all right, not limestone. Normally you hear glades, you're thinking of limestone glades, but here we got chert. This is making me hot already, and not just because it's 90 94 degrees outside. 94 degrees is chilly where I come from. Once you've dealt with South Texas heat, you can take anything. Look at that. Look at those long, pronounced tubes. Those corolla lobes at the end of that tube with the pink. Oh, this is nice. Another variation on a Liatris. Look at those leaves. So look at what we got here. We got these moss mats. We got, oh look, there's a Juniperus virginia, eastern red cedar popping up right there. We got Quercus marylandica, the blackjack oak popping up right there. And which you always see, at least I always associate with drier sites, with like rocky outcroppings in this kind of denser woodland in the central U.S. And then you kind of go into the forest over there where the soil gets a little deeper, and you're not on these thin soil glades anymore. Tons of little blue stem too. Schizachyrium scoparium. This seems to be a very well-maintained site. You can see they probably do burning here, which they should really do in many places that they're not currently doing it in the United States. And of course, always on the drier sites, north of a certain latitude, you're going to find Antenaria, which is in the paper daisy tribe, Nephaliae. In Illinois, you get it on drier sites because, again, it doesn't get that tall, but it's also got these extremely fuzzy leaves. So Asteraceae, but it's in Nephaliae, the paper daisy tribe. So it's a sunflower, but it's in the paper daisy tribe. By sunflower, I mean it's one of the 25,000 species in that family. Look at how woolly those leaves are. Holy hell. Pussy toes, is that the name of it? I don't know, some stupid common name. It's an Antenaria. You can see it's just growing here on the edge of a forest. On the edge of a little woodland, right where it starts opening up into the brighter, more exposed glade. Oh, I can't get over that. Man, anytime you meet a new species in a genus you're already familiar with and really like, you know, you get your mind blown a little bit. Liatris hirsuta, local favorite. Again, only occurs in a small region. Kind of like a north to south band through eastern Kansas, Arkansas, western Missouri, and northern Louisiana. What a stunner, man. Look at that. How many Missouri native plant gardens got this in their setup, huh? Or is there an Arkansas native plant garden? You know, I've been in this region a few times before. Remember staying at, I got hammered with these rednecks at this hotel once when I was riding trains through Kansas. We stopped in Wellington, Kansas, which the Santa Fe goes through. You know, I was still drinking, you know, we lit one up that night. Now, we really tore one off. As far as we didn't get arrested, we caught a train the next day, ended up in Kansas City, had to jump a electric fence to get out of there, electric little, whatever the thing, you know, like a ground, like a third rail. To get out of this train, it was a nightmare. Anyway, let's keep going. This is nice. This is so nice. I feel so titillated right now. Look, I'm looking at a species bounty, a diversity. You got Ruellia humilis right here with the white flower, getting ready to open. Wonder if that's adapted to moth pollination. See that? Acanthaceae right there. Look at those hairy leaves. Hairy opposite leaves. Right there we got that Phemeranthus, that Bitterroot family member with the succulent finger-like leaves and the pink flower. There's more of that Ruellia. Over here we got Myriopteris lanosa, a desert-adapted fern from the Chilanthoid subfamily. All those Chilanthoids, you gotta watch those bastards. Some of the coolest ferns around. Genera like Astralepis, Argyrocosma, Myriopteris, Natalina. Desert ferns, they like drier sites. You got Myriopteris alabamensis. Elsewhere in Oklahoma, you could see those little curved. Look at that. Look, it's like a hairy fern, a wiry, hairy fern, forming a little colony here, ensconcing this prickly pear, this opuntia, which I think is either Opuntia sexpetosa. I don't know, who gives a shit. Honestly, I don't. No offense to you. I like what you do. Don't care about getting you down to species level ID, though. I just don't. Just being honest. What is this? Is that, no, it's not Schizachyrium. Is that a Dicanthelium? I don't fucking know. Somebody will correct me. Maybe it is a Schizachyrium. I don't know. I don't get too deep into the grasses, but I certainly appreciate them. Then you got a liverwort, another non-vascular there, which can tolerate drying out, a desiccation tolerant plant. Look at it, the liverworts. Look at this fucking, God, they're so cool. An ancient lineage, ancientlineage.com. You got some mosses in there as well. And just a wonderful little plant community going on in this glade, on this Chert glade. Huh? Did you ever think that what happened in a early Carboniferous ocean, 350 million year old ocean, would be affecting you today? Huh? Creating the rock on which so many plants have been able to eke out an existence where they might elsewhere not be able to do so. You know, where they would get out-competed and smothered. Look at that Phemeranthus. Oh, look at him right there. Look at that little pink flower on that Phemeranthus. Look at this. What's going on? Look at that. Look at that. Getting ready to bloom at night. It's a night bloomer. What's the moth scene like here in Joplin, Missouri? Huh? Do people go mothing? Do the teens go mothing? I know there were some famous heshers from Missouri. A lot of Missouri metalheads, heshers, wrecking shop, teen vandalism, poison themselves with alcohol. Maybe they just need to have their minds open to the joys of mothing. All right? Maybe microdose some acid while you're doing it too. All right? Learn about the living world around you. Wouldn't hurt. Look at that silage. Look at that. It's nice, huh? You just take those destructive urges and channel them into creative and studious ones about the living world. But don't forget your roots. Always got to do a little bit of vandalism here and there, but against the right targets, right? Selective vandalism. Very, not just casual, selective and very, very specifically targeted and well thought out. And don't get carried away with it, all right? I'm certainly not endorsing anything felonious, not too felonious. And since it's a hotter, drier site lacking in vast quantities of soil, a lot of these plants show xeric adaptations. Adaptations you might see in plants coming from more dry regions, like hairs, as you can see right here in this Lespedeza. And look at how silvery those leaves are. Look at that. That silver color is just from those oppressed white hairs that are just parallel to those lanceolate leaves. And look at oh God, look at the stem. Oh, it's so hairy. Look how hairy it is. There's an inflorescence. Emerging inflorescence. Look at those brown bracts subtending what will later be the flowers. It's a legume. See, look, then we get the annual ragweed, Ambrosia artemisia-folia, popping up everywhere. See, that's an aggressive native, but by looking at how aggressive it is, it's everywhere. In the right environment, you could tell that's going to be a bad one if it escapes the continent, And I'm guarantee you it's probably invasive as hell in places like Europe and probably areas in northern or southern Africa, etc. Probably in Europe, probably in the Mediterranean region especially. It's very very weedy. You can always tell what plants are going to be weedy when they make it to other continents by how aggressive they are in their native environment. If they're like the first to recolonize disturbed areas, etc. And after a burn, after humans scrape the land, and they're going to put up a CVS or some tacky shit, and then recession happens. Thank God, praise be to God, and it the project falls through, and then you just end up with an empty lot. When that empty lot starts getting recolonized, some of the first natives to show up would be a good study to see how many of those natives are actually invasive in other continents. Just by how much they get around. Got a good wind dispersal, or they're really short generational turnover, or produce tons of seeds, can take exposure, etc. Look at it, that Phemeranthus is everywhere. When you look close, you gotta watch where you step. Look at those green succulent leaves. You can tell these already flowered. There's the old scape that was once topped by a big bright pink flower, like you've already seen in this video. See, look, there's Phemeranthus everywhere. Such a cool little plant. Again, related to Bitterroot in the same order as cacti. See, there's more doing so well on this rocky exposed site. There's a milkweed and the Asclepias species, Asclepias hurtella. Look at those leaves. Sessile, no petiole. There's a little linear lance shade. You can tell that thing's built for the drier, more sun exposed sites. It's got some seeds right there too. And see, it's not only native succulent plants that can thrive on these glades, these rocky, soilless environments. Also, invasives can as well. Invasive succulents like this Sedum sarmentosum, which I also saw at that abandoned landing strip in Brooklyn. Remember that? I did a video out there in Opuntia. A cactus grows in Brooklyn. This is an invasive species. It's in Crassulaceae. It is cool. It's not really fucking anything up ecologically too much, because it's restricted to growing on these drier sites, kind of mimicking pavement right here, which is akin to the abandoned landing strip that I saw it on. Let's take a little look over this, the edge of this precipice, though. Oh, shit. Jesus, that's quite a steep fall. You can't get cliffs like that east of a certain longitude too easily, you know. What's that? Is that a brassica right there? What is that? Probably a weedy one, huh? No, maybe not. Yeah, it's a mustard. You can just tell by the flaky fruits. See those flaky fruits? Campsis radicans, Bignoniaceae, which is mostly a tropical family. So this looks like kind of a tropical vine. It's got kind of a tropical look to it. It's a cool native. They sell it in some of the garden centers and stuff. And it does. It looks like kind of tropical foliage. You got those pinnate leaves. So leaves on either side of a rachis. Maybe they're odd pinnate. So they got a end leaf. But it looks like kind of tropical foliage because it's from a tropical family. A family is primarily tropical. Something's going on down there in the river. I don't know what's up with that. Again, it's the Heschers of Missouri. Anyway, but you know, when I was in Brazil, we saw a lot of members of this family, the catalpa family, the desert willow family, Bignoniaceae. Generally got those pinnate leaf. Sausage tree from Africa, which is a tropical tree in Africa, is from this family. And then over here we got Oriolaria, which is a cool plant. It's partially parasitic from a family known for partially parasitic plants, the Orobanchaceae, the paintbrush family. This is Oriolaria. I think it's Flora. Not too familiar with the different species, and I've only seen it once or twice before in this region. But big yellow flowers. You can see it's not blooming yet. But when this thing goes off, I said, wow. But look at those. Look at this. Look at the calyx. Look at that distinct sepal. See that? How they kind of fold in. They kind of or fold upwards like that, and then kind of the little star shape pop open like that. All right, and you got the superior ovary, so the ovaries nestled within that calyx and corolla. But something knocked this over. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, really cool genus either way. And again, it's partially parasitic, so it's probably tying in to the oak or the compi. I don't know what else. Maybe some of the goldenrods are on there. I don't know, but it's tying into something via hostorial roots. So just imagine it now. You could see some kids down there slamming Milwaukee's Best, wearing skinny jeans and Slayer t-shirts, Megadeth t-shirts. I don't know. Maybe you're not doing that anymore. Boy, that really is a drop. Look at this nice red color, indicating a very rich, probably tropical environment when it was laid down. Very, very iron rich. Oh, this is nice. How did somebody got up there to tag that? I can't even read what that says, but look at this beautiful red color to that. So again, this was probably a very warm ocean when this was laid down, or it could have happened afterwards. Could have been a layer above it that got all this iron into there. Really at the end of the day, I'm kind of talking out of my ass because I didn't read up on the geologic history of this area. It's definitely iron in these sedimentary rocks. Look at all that Liatris hirsuta poking out. Oh God, what a cool species. Local favorite, endemic to this region. Ah, look at that. I can't get over this Liatris. God, that's nice. There must be 20 species of Liatris. Again, you don't get them in the western U.S. too much. Maybe Colorado, maybe a couple places in West Texas, but they're not, they start thinning out after that. They're really more eastern half of the country, primarily the central U.S. That looks like a goddamn thistle. And again, adapted to fire too. You got a big corm in the ground that these sprout from. See, a herbaceous perennial. So this will die at the end of the year. You got a big root down there, a big storage root. Liatris hirsuta. God, they're all so cool. So many variations on a theme. Liatris bridgesii will really blow your mind. That's a fucking stunner. Holy hell. A Phemeranthus grows on a cliff in Missouri. Could be the opening to a poem, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, look at that. Look at how many there are right there. See that? You can see the old, they're not flowering right now. You can see the old scapes sticking up. God, what a cool plant. See that? Anyway, nice day to go tubing on a river. Or just go, you dip your balls in there, so I don't know, whatever, dip your shins, whatever. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you got some out of it. Have a good rest of your day. Go fuck yourself, bye. You always got to stop at the good rock outcroppings, Doesn't matter if it's just on the side of the freeway near all the piss bottles and the cops are going to stop you. It doesn't matter. It's always worth it. Ooh, nice hackberry. Nice, is this Caryophyllaceae? I think, I'm going to go with Caryophyllaceae. I have to look at the Flora. Got an orangium here. I don't see any flowers. I'd assume, oh, nice croton. Nice Euploca, or is that a Lithospermum? Yeah, I'm all fucked up. I've been in South Texas too long. Nice old limestone though. Echinacea. Ooh, nice Opuntia. Little low-growing yucca. Ooh, who's this? Yeah, I was just coming here looking for ferns. Instead, I found a nice little Hedioma. Smells wonderful. Cool penstemon. What is that, Cobea? Growing on a fucking rock outcrop. Nice thistle, Celtis, Anglemania. Yeah, that penstemon is nice. That's nice. Welcome to Oklahoma. Does Oklahoma make you horny? Do you think anyone's ever made a bumper sticker that says Oklahoma makes me horny? There's multiple different faces of Oklahoma. You know, you got the res, you got the kind of Timothy McVeigh, super pasty pink, no offense to them, thing going on. In fact, I was just driving next to a guy that looked like Timothy McVeigh. Maybe I'm biased. You know, you got the whole Jesus aspect. And then you got the whole, you know, tectonic forces lifting up the old Ouachita Mountains. You know, these were deposited horizontally 400 million years ago, maybe 300 million years ago, and now they're vertical at an angle, and they're kind of dipped that way. So you're going this way, and they're kind of going, and that creates a nice habitat, does it not? You know, for all this stuff to grow. And a nice dahlia right there. Ooh, a nice coloration change, and the limestone over there gets a little pink. Here we got a Mentzelia. Look at that. Look how it creates this kind of, this whole bush is the Mentzelia. And look how it creates this kind of divaricating branching structure. Yet it's an annual or it's an herbaceous. It could be an herbaceous perennial too. The Velcro leaves, you know, because they stick to you. They got all those little barbed hairs on them. And then there's that little flower. Got staminodes in there. 5 sepals. There's the fruit. It's a little capsule. It's a dried dehiscent capsule. Got all them little barbed hairs on it. If you could look at them under an SEM, a scanning electron microscope, you'd see the barbs. That's nice. A lot of cool Mentzelias out there. Some are moth pollinated. This is evidently bee pollinated. Many stamens, some staminodes, and then there's a style in there too. Presumably, since this is a bisexual flower, since it does have that ovary at the base. Ovary is just a fruit. A fruit is just an ovary. You feel less dumb already. Of course, you know, I'm the jackass out here standing on the side of the road amongst all the trucker piss bottles filming rocks.